What is Monsanto's message at the climate talks?
Well, I think a couple of things, but we're really excited about the announcement we made last week that we intend to make our operations carbon neutral by 2021, working with farmers around the world and adopting new technologies and systems to help us offset the carbon footprint of Monsanto. The first thing that people need to recognize is that all crops use carbon dioxide to grow. And if you're using high-tech agriculture, you can actually grow crops that actually consume more carbon than they produce in the growing, including all the inputs that go in. Just like many people talk about trees today, that plant a tree and reduce the carbon. Plant a crop, reduce the carbon. It's the exact same concept. Well, I think I go back to the science and I look at the data, and the reality is, and I hear all that's said, is biotechnology is one tool. It's not the tool, it's a tool that the farmers can use in their toolbox. But it's really clear that biotechnology has substantially reduced the use of pesticides. From cotton that used to get sprayed 15 times to getting sprayed a couple of times, to corn that used to be treated multiple times to being treated singular times. So huge reduction in pesticide use along with biotech crops. Well, I think some will say what they want to say, but what I can tell you from Monsanto's perspective is we believe that climate change is real. We've had our own scientists studying it for years, and we've been looking for alternatives. And we have opportunities to work with farmers around the world to grow crops in a better way that actually reduces carbon. And we think that that's a good thing, and we're going to continue to work on that and drive for that. And some will say what they'll say, but I would welcome them to be a collaborator with us, come sit at the table with us, work on this together with us, hear how we're working on it, because we welcome others to participate in this process. It will take many, many collaborators to get this done, to make a real difference in agriculture, not just by Monsanto.
Well, I think it's so wrong to talk of technology in an abstract way. Technology is tools. That's what it literally means. It's not some magic wand. And as far as genetic engineering is concerned, I am critical of it as a scientist. I'm critical of it as a scientist who has looked at the Green Revolution in India, and I've looked at the performance of the two applications of genetic engineering in our agriculture system. One is herbicide-resistant crops, like Roundup-ready crops, and the other is Bt toxin crops. Herbicide-tolerant crops were supposed to control weeds. They've given us super weeds. Half of the acreage of the US agriculture is devastated today by super weeds. And now they're preparing genetically engineered crops resistant to 2,4-D and ingredient of Agent Orange. As far as the Bt toxin crops are concerned, the cotton in India is largely Bt cotton now. It was supposed to control pests. The bollworm has become resistant, and new pests which were never pests of cotton have been created. This year alone, 80% of the crop of cotton in Punjab was devastated by an attack of the whitefly, which is never a known pest in history. And farmers were committing more suicides. More pesticides were being used. This is not benefiting farmers. It's not benefiting agriculture.
First of all, I've spent a lot of time in India. I lived in Asia for a couple of years, and I've been to India many, many times, and been to many villages in India. I've never had a farmer tell me that he didn't have access to conventional seed and he wanted it. Not one time. I've had many, many farmers say, when are you going to bring me the next one? In other words, meaning the next technology that can help me grow a better crop. There are many seed suppliers in India. We are a very small seed supplier in India. They can buy seeds from many, many companies, and there are conventional seeds available. Farmers don't choose to buy them. They choose to buy the biotech seeds because they get better yields and less cost. But they totally have the choice. And we're not even a material seed player in the cotton industry there.
When you say, oh, but we need technology to deal with climate change, yes, we need smart. Technology is not fake smart.
So genetic engineering is a fake smart?
It's fake smart for the simple reason, all traits that are climate resilient, and the three extremes that are hitting us are long droughts, lots of flooding, and cyclones and hurricanes. Cyclones and hurricanes bring salt. We have created seed banks in India, 120 of them. Our coastal seed banks have salt-tolerant seeds. They're not invented by Monsanto. They've been evolved by farmers. These climate-resistant traits are complex traits. They're not in single genes. A toxin can be in a single gene, like a Bt toxin. But climate resilience is in the whole genome. Whole genomic breeding is done by farmers and conventional breeding. Genetic engineering is only a capacity to add a gene.
Well, Water Efficient Maize for Africa is a great program, and we're working in conjunction with African Agricultural Technology Foundation, the Gates Foundation, and CIMMYT out of Mexico, and of course Monsanto. And the whole idea was, could we bring drought tolerance to African farmers as quickly as we could, because they more often than not suffer from drought worse than many other parts of the world. But first we had to develop hybrids that were adaptable to that part of the world, and CIMMYT has helped us with that. We've helped with that with our own germplasm, and we made the technology available for free, a royalty-free basis, and Gates has provided part of that funding. So it's a really exciting approach. I think sometimes those that aren't close to agriculture, and I recognize that many aren't, forget that breeding is still a huge component of what we do. And nearly half of the R&D that Monsanto does around the world is in breeding better seeds. And that's without using biotechnology. That's just better seeds for farmers to grow better crops. And then the biotech is added to those seeds. There are some farmers that want to buy those conventional seeds to grow organic production, of which those seeds can be certified to grow organic production. And we do that, and we do provide those seeds to those farmers that want to grow in an organic system. We don't have a problem with organic production. We've never been anti-organic seeds. We've been a supplier all along. We believe that technology can make advances and can increase productivity, make crops more resilient, make them better for climate change, reducing greenhouse gases. But that doesn't mean it's the only way. We're open to others. And so, yes, we've been a big supplier of the organic industry and hope to continue to.
And you see the future as more going towards organic or GMOs? I
don't see organic getting a lot larger. There's a market for organic, and we've participated in that market for a long, long time. I think one of the challenges that we face as a global society thinking about climate change is really this nexus coming together of the best thing to do for climate change is increase the productivity on the land that we already use for agriculture. And using technology to drive productivity up reduces greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture and discourages us from taking in new land or cutting down trees to bring in new production. That goes against what many people think of. They think of organic as being the most sustainable. Actually, low productivity agriculture or organic is not the most sustainable solution. It's not the best for greenhouse gas. High productivity agriculture is actually the best that we can do for the environment and for sustainability. So I think that's a conversation where we welcome everyone at the table to work on these things together. And too often people are on the sidelines and on the extreme shouting at each other, and they don't understand what each other are saying. There's a lot of room to get together at a small table and let's have a conversation. Let's share knowledge and information and science, and there's real opportunity to accomplish more than what I think people see today that we're accomplishing as an industry, because we need to do it for the best of society.